My name's Kate, I'm from Mini First Aid. We run baby and child first aid classes right across the UK, and today I'm going to be talking to you about choking. One of the things that parents experience, particularly when they're preparing to wean their baby, is it can be a very nerve-wracking time preparing to put something into your baby's mouth that's different to them having a milk feed, and therefore you can feel quite nervous. What are they going to do? Are they going to choke, etc. I can give you some top tips first of all on choking prevention. The first thing has been given to us by Mother Nature, which is great, which is something called a gag reflex, which is where you know if in yourself you put something too far into your mouth, it can make you gag. Babies, very young babies and babies are built with this gag reflex quite far forward, which is great. So it means that if something goes into their mouth that potentially is going to be too big for their windpipe, it's going to cause them to gag, which is great. Gagging is not choking. So if we're all red and cough and spluttering, then we're not choking, we're merely gagging. What we do need to be cautious of is obviously if a baby is choking and what we do. And I'm going to teach you the techniques in just a minute as to what we do with a choking baby. But a couple more top tips for you as to how to make sure that you avoid that choking situation. First things first, make sure your baby is always seated to eat. So we're not walking around, we're not lying down, and we need to echo that as parents as well. So making sure that they see us sitting down to eat our food. Also encourage your baby to chew. Might seem a little strange if they've not got any teeth, but their gums themselves are very, very powerful. And actually we want them to get into that mechanism of learning to chew their food. Again, as an adult, chew visibly in front of your babies and children when you're eating, because if they see you doing it, they're more likely to replicate that behaviour. You also want to make sure that they're not moving around. So sitting nice and still and chewing nicely, and if we replicate that behaviour, can be some of the first and most important steps that we have to avoiding choking. And our final piece of advice for choking prevention is to make sure, whichever weaning technique you're using or whichever technique you're using to feed your baby, is to make sure that food is chopped or broken into manageable pieces and not into the shape of a windpipe. So we don't want anything that's circular. So slices of carrots, it's better that they're sticks. Again, with pieces of sausage, for example, that they're in sticks. You don't want anything in a round format. So a blueberry, a grape, anything that's not cut the right way. Key one with grapes, which is the big bugbear for the first aid industry of a parents feeding their children grapes, is to cut them lengthways, because then you get an oblong shape which is much easier to pass down, and if it did go the wrong way, went into the windpipe, then it's not going to block the windpipe. Let me tell you the technique for dealing with a baby that is choking. So we refer to a baby as anybody that is under the age of 1. This is my baby here. This is a mannequin. So this is a first aid training mannequin. So first things first, if we suspect that our baby is choking, one of the things that can be a sign for us is that our baby is silent and perhaps going blue around the lips as well due to lack of oxygen. A baby that's chatting away is not choking because their windpipe is not blocked. So this baby, I suspect she's choking. I look into her mouth and I can't see anything, but I'm not going to put my fingers into her mouth just in case I push the object that has become lodged down even further. I want to get her out of her high chair really quickly, and what I want to do is I want to turn my baby using gravity so that she is head down. While she is head down, either over my lap or holding her, I'm supporting her chest, and I'm going to slap her on the back up to 5 times. Where we're locating where to slap is between the shoulder blades. And what we don't want to do, this isn't something like when you're winding a baby where it's gentle taps. We want to add real pressure, because what we're wanting to do is force the object out of the baby's windpipe. So we're going to do this up to 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back slaps are incredibly effective, and what you might find is just after a number of back slaps, the object comes out on the floor. How do we know our baby's not choking anymore? Because it's very likely that she's going to start to cry because she's been upside down and you've been hitting her very hard on the back. In some situations, however, that back slaps alone does not dislodge the item. So we turn our baby onto her back, again using gravity, so she's facing down. I'm supporting her now, and I'm going to take 2 fingers, and what I'm doing is I want to jab them into the chest on an angle, because I want to force air from the diaphragm up to force the object out. And this again I do up to 5 times. Might want to look in the baby's mouth now to see if the object has come out. If it has, then our baby is no longer choking, and we just need to monitor our baby. If our baby is still choking, we need help. We need to be calling 999, Babies are little, so you can walk with them to the phone, or if you've got somebody with you, they need to be calling 999 for you as quickly as possible. Whilst you continue with the cycle of 5 back slaps, I'll show you that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turning them over, checking the mouth, and then the 5 jabs to see if we can force the air up that way. And you keep going on that cycle until your emergency help arrives, or unfortunately that your baby loses consciousness, and in which case you would then revert to doing CPR. If a baby has been choking and you give them back slaps and the object comes out, everybody naturally will feel hugely relieved. You don't necessarily need to go to hospital unless you are concerned that you may have injured your baby in some way. However, if you've had to do the chest thrusts, which is where we were placing the 2 fingers onto the chest and jabbing in a jabbing motion, if you've had to do that and then the object comes out, whilst we're all hugely relieved, we do need to go to hospital because it's a very tender area of the body. So we need to make sure that we go to hospital just in case any further treatment is required. The best thing you can do for learning to deal with choking is to learn practically. Get yourself booked onto a first aid class so you can actually learn these techniques practically, get hands on and see